too much age differential there. Right, so that was Brian's target speech. And may I have a time, please?
Time was 9 minutes 24 seconds.
9 minutes 24. Well, according to the competition rules, states that 8 minutes time is off and you have a little bit of leeway, not 1 minute and 20 seconds. So that might be one consideration to mark down in your evaluation sheet. Is there a spare evaluation sheet going around I can just show people?
They're all the back.
I think John's got some. Yes, so if you are ever called upon to evaluate a speech during competition rules, there is a specific form that you fill out and to help you assess the speech. I mean, it's not overly complicated. There's a few sections. One is analysis. I'm sure everyone can read. Advice and presentation. So that's a total of 100 points, and obviously the top scorer wins. So you evaluate as you go along, and but if you are a contestant, then you would hear the set speech, then you would all be taken off to another room, and you would have 10 minutes to write down your notes. Then after 10 minutes, the usher would collect all your notes, and they take the notes away from you, and then each contestant individually would come into the room and give their 6-minute evaluation, up to 6 minutes. Okay, and then one by one, the contestants would be brought in. And the two judges at the end of the session would evaluate which is the best evaluator. And it sounds complicated. It is a little complicated, but once it starts flowing, and when you have enough numbers, it sort of makes sense. So now we're going to assess Brian's speech. Does anyone have any initial comments?
No.
I'll tell you what. If you want to evaluate the speech, please come up to the podium and give a few tidbits. Julie.
So this is the speech evaluation from the topic of silver screen cowboys and ordinary, or not ordinary, real cowboys. The speaker forgot to address the chair in the initial
Salutation.
Thank you. There was a very good question for starting to engage the audience and some good gestures. However, the pen was rather distracting. The timing has already been mentioned, was a little off, and despite the lights being off, it should have come to a conclusion, but the speaker chose to introduce yet another topic. And yes, so that is, I think, for future hand gestures without a pen that's clicking away would be easier to follow sticking to time.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Would anyone else like to come up and make a few comments? Okay, you don't have to come up here now. Does anyone have any comments? John?
Okay, I was going to go with I'll stay here.
Fine.
Overall, I thought it was a very interesting speech, very engaging, and
Yes.
I thought the way the speaker came to the to the front and address the audience and engage the audience is fine. He did miss the salutation, but never mind, we can forgive that, although pointed out as a learning point. So it was a good topic that meant something to most people in terms of looking back, not to the young lady on my right here. She must have wondered what on earth we're all talking about.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, it certainly brings back memory. In terms of mannerisms, the speaker has a habit of gesticulating for no particular purpose, but never mind. It's engaging, because I think there's nothing worse than people standing around with their hands down by their side talking in a monitor. The pen waving got to me in the end, but that was deliberate, of course.
We think.
The opening question was a good way to start the speech. No use of notes, which meant that the eye contact was always there, it was always good, and was always directed to the audience. On one or two occasions it was directed up into the ceiling. Perhaps I think
we all tend to do that when we're trying to think on our feet, so
just to see if we picked it up. One thing I'd say about the voice is the speaker's voice is very easy to listen to.
Yes.
Very easy and takes you along. It would have been, I think, perhaps would have improved the speech if he put a little more drama into some of the exchanges, the gunfighting.
Yes.
Just to pick that up and to make it a little more.
He could have also a little bit more drama, accentuating the voice as he's doing a gesture.
Yeah. But overall, I thought the speech construction was very good. Good opening. Development, the theme was developed with lots of examples. And there was some good vocabulary and good word pictures that hop along.
Yeah.
And
the older generation had more pictures.
the bang of the black powder and the fanning of the gun, I was particularly taken with that. So there was some use of humour. There was a kind of underlying humour.
Yes.
There wasn't no jokes, but there was good underlying humour. So I thought the audience, just looking around, was engaged.
Well, he asked questions to the audience.
Yeah.
How far away do the gunmen actually stand?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought maybe about 20 feet was pretty damn close, but, 10 feet. It's not very far away. When Brian mentions the gun is not very accurate, it's a heavy piece of iron. And when you're actually trying to pull the trigger, you tend to, especially when you're under pressure, someone pointing a gun at you, that's a bit of pressure, you're going to jerk the trigger, which moves the barrel. That's why half the time the bullets go whizzing past people. Obviously, it still scares them bejesusly, but sometimes you do get it accurate. But a Colt 45, for example, is a very heavy, unwieldy piece of iron.
What does the 45 say? Is it 44.5 millimetres?
No, it's a caliber, 0.45 inches.
5 inches?
Oh, it was a big red, the bullet's about as, like a thumb. And that's pretty heavy.
So 10 feet, that wouldn't, if it did hit you, it wouldn't be much less heavy, would
It'd make a nice noise.
Whoa.
It was called a peacemaker, the one they used mostly, because it was the most reliable. Colt peacemaker. Eventually they did come out with Colts that fired every time you pulled the trigger without having to bring the hammer back. Another thing I didn't say, because we don't have time, was there is no such thing as a 6-shooter. Nobody in their right mind can put 6 bullets into a gun. Because if you've got the hammer resting on one of the bullets, and you drop it or you bang it, it'll go off. So everybody had 5 rounds to an empty chamber with the hammer on it.
Just a few safety issues, but during the Wild West, what was health and safety? You're lucky to get out there in the first place.
It's been difficult walking though, if it was that heavy, dangling down from your belt, and all these heavy bullets.
Yeah, but that's Dave men, so yeah.
There was an interesting development, you're talking about carrying them heavy and lifting them out. There was a Beltron, which was a bolt, which in fact some mobile phones have, which gets on your belt and it rotates. And so the gun would be on your belt permanently, and when you wanted to fire it, you just spun it round and fired. Now that was great until the pin broke. I had problems, because you didn't have anywhere to put it.
I think my word of advice to everyone present, if you're thinking about a gunfight, is to avoid it.
Just ask Brian if there are any other points that he deliberately put in that we haven't noted.
Right, have you thought of anything else? I mean, he had his hand gestures, there was a bit more.
As everybody else said, I thought it was a very engaging speech. I found it really, really, really interesting. I did notice you did hop around a bit, didn't you?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And then you went on about this gun fighting and stuff like that. Then you went on about how they murdered cancer. Then you came back to the gunfighting. All very interesting, but I did notice that bit of hop around. I thought you put it on.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
moving
I
around.
think that was part of his ad lib.
More than I usually
Yeah,
do.
hop along, really.
I've got another question for you. Who's heard of the gunfight at OK Corral?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The fight didn't take place in the corral, it took place behind the corral. How long do you think it took? The gunfight, how long do you think it lasted?
5 minutes?
3 minutes.
30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds, that's all it took for the Earths to take out most of the Clantons and the McClory brothers.
Excuse me, Brian, you're just ruining all my television for me.
There's a film about that.
Oh no, there is, yeah, it's not true. 30 seconds was how long it lasted.
Yes.
Doc Halliday used a shotgun to blow one of the brothers' chests in, and Earp and the others used their pistols. And the Clanton brothers and the McClorys were either dead or ran for it. Ike Clanton didn't get killed for
What was
years.
the date?
The day, oh God.
1887 or
Something
something
like
around
that,
there?
yeah, 1870, 1877, something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So,
And actually, White Earp died in his bed in 1922. So it was a gunfight for the boys of the North at the end.
Anyway, this sort of gives a taster of what you expect. It's actually just an offshoot of our normal everyday set speeches, and we evaluators and so forth. So this would be under competition rules. So, and then you would fill out the form. I think the more times you use the form, the easier it gets to fill it out. It doesn't look so.
So that's the form for the people evaluating the evaluators.
Correct.
That's not the evaluation.
Well, I mean, no, because you as the competition evaluator would have a blank piece of paper and you'd make your own notes.
One thing that wasn't mentioned, because the delegate speech normally has a level, what?
Does it have a level? I didn't think it
I
stated
thought it
one.
just has.
It used to. They used to pitch it at level 6, but and also require at the end that you would say whether or not the speaker should pass on to the next assignment. But they stopped that. So it's an indeterminate level, but aiming towards the top of the assignment.
And we didn't ask if there was anything we've missed.
Well, John actually hinted at it. And I deliberately looked up at the ceiling a few times and I remembered.
Right.
Don't know if anybody, if this was mentioned last week, because I wasn't there last time, but what Julie just did, went up and evaluated, is what the competitors do. Doesn't matter what she says about what Brian does, it's what the evaluator says about what
Yes,
Brian said.
yes.
Brian can do
You're not actually, the judges don't actually evaluate the topic speech, they evaluate the evaluator.
Yeah, how they're doing, how to try and do it in the style of a mini speech,
Correct.
which is difficult, but you get 20 marks for that presentation alone, and the other 80 marks around for things that you spotted about the speech and learning points and advice.
Is there anything you'd like to say about how you score, particularly the first one? Because that's your yardstick, really. Because you say, well, that was brilliant, that picked everything out.
I was
And then
told
somebody
the
comes
tip.
in and, oh, actually, that's pretty good too.
I was given the tip on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Advice
Ah,
a
good.
few years ago, and
Good
that
point.
usually always works. Well, you get 40, 40, 20. You give the first person 20, 20, 10. And that sets the benchmark. And if the second one is
Better or less.
worse, you can move up.
Well, that's
Because you don't know what the others are going to be like.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
If you give them very high marks and then somebody does better,
Mhm.
then you're stuffed.
Yeah,
So if you give them all 20, 20,
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah, because it's all relative, isn't it? Because the final score at the bottom
Does the person with the highest marks wins? whether
place
you-
it, but it doesn't matter what figure it is.
Yeah. And if you use your base mark as 20, 20, 10, well, it doesn't make any difference. You work around that. So, well, that's that's a,
Otherwise you
that's
have
a
to go
very good
down
point.
and remarket it.
Yeah.
Yes, and then if you
Yeah.
had 6 or 7 competitors, you're gonna go back and think, oh my God, it's just too complicated to remark things.
Change that, change that.
So now, super.
Good point, John.
Any other points or comments?
If I may,
Yes.
just say, I mean, I once asked one of the great and the good up at the association why we did this. Well, that was new.
Oh, okay, and the answer was?
And you lived?
The answer was that thinking about other people's speeches and going through this process helps your own thinking process in producing your own speeches.
Yeah, no, that's
As simple as
very
that.
good.
That's
Yeah.
what I do. So now I think that's that. So,
It actually gives you things, well, I'm evaluating someone's speech, now I know what to avoid. Or I know what really works well. And, yeah, that just reinforces, it's just another way of reinforcing speech. And it gets you time up front to talk, to get comfortable, to make it feel natural and, okay? I mean, this evening is a little disjointed, and so we're just sort of doing it ad hoc and ad lib, so. How are we doing for time? I think we got plenty of time. We're a little ahead of schedule. John McGee had actually offered, did you still want to come up and give a little speak and just fill in some time, or are you not bothered?
No, we don't need to.
We don't need to.
That was because they had about 10 minutes lost.
That's right, okay.
While the competitors were out.
Just thought I'd ask and see if I could goad you into the front.
Just make sure everybody knows topic.
Yes, okay. Any other notes or
just
points?
one. Chair, you would do it if you asked it. And we would have another speech.
I think we should have another speech. And there shouldn't be any debate about it, and we can give it marks 1 out of 5 being best at the end of the speech. John, please come up here, and it's going to be about, 4 minutes, 5 minutes? John?